What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with the hash-slinging slasher.
Crush one.
And today we're back to answer more questions in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Now, if you really enjoy these types of videos and you want to see more, you could support us with a super thanks. If you do, you are guaranteeing that we have more greater WAAAGHs, but also your question will be answered in next week's episode as a thumbnail question. And that is what?
Sean McGuire has done. His question is, what would your storyline be with the connection between the Black Vipers and Belisarius' Call? So if you guys are unaware, the Black Vipers are a successor chapter to the Salamanders, but the Salamanders themselves don't even know they existed. It is a very secretive chapter that was created specifically during the Ultima founding, and there's a lot of secrets unknown to this, to the point where like certain space marines go missing, or it could even be Belisarius' Call's own personal force. Now, with that being said, since there's no real connection or answers to this, my headcanon is that the Black Vipers are a little bit of a breadcrumb that GW has put out there that could lead us to believe that Belisarius' Call is indeed a heretic. Because for the longest time, he's been sitting on the fence. We don't know if he's doing heretical technologies to help the Imperium. But he has been working with Guilliman, but maybe he'll backstab him. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to is that I think that this could be the beginning of an army that is entirely loyal to Belisarius' Call. We know that Call has gene seed from all the Primarchs, which is how he was able to create the Primaris Marines for all the chapters. So who's to say he can't create a whole army of Primaris Marines that are entirely loyal to him only?
What's interesting about that headcanon and kind of like coincides with what's going on in the past is that the Adeptus Mechanicus has done that in the past. They did it with the, I want to say, it was the successor chapter of the Iron Hands. I forget what they're called. But the Imperium found out, and then they saw that the Adeptus Mechanicus was using them exclusively as their own private Space Marine force. They put a stop to that, but what's stopping Belisarius' Call now that he has all this power to do it again?
Right. Not just that, but it seems like Guilliman's also backing him up.
Yeah.
So he could just be using Guilliman as like, hey, if you mess with me, you're messing with pretty much the freaking Emperor.
Yeah.
The voice of the Emperor.
Also, if it was one of those situations where Belisarius' Call ends up betraying the Imperium, what if Belisarius' Call created something within the Primaris gene seed upgrade to like basically do like an Order 66 or something like that? That would be epic, and it's not uncommon for GW to borrow things from different universes. So
Right.
we kind of already saw that with the Grey Knights and the
Terminus Decree.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We didn't really say it, but spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting question, man. A lot could be going on behind the scenes, but we'll never know unless GW publishes something for that.
Yeah, but it would be awesome too to have Belisarius' Call as a new model for Belisarius' Call as the leader of the Dark Mechanicus.
Yeah, what if he's working with Vashtor the Archifane? That'd be a huge reveal.
Yeah, good question. Next one.
This next one is by Oscar 1950. If you both had to switch armies, Tau and Orcs, how would you field them?
So I actually I have an entire series dedicated to me creating a Tau army. I still need to work on, like, I got an Ethereal, Fire Warriors, and that's it so far. But I have battle suits to come. But yeah, I would do it really infantry heavy. Just because I like infantry, I like it on the tabletop, and I'm not a competitive player. I just like to see things die on the battlefield. So if I were to play Tau, or when I play Tau, it's going to be... Oh, also there's Skitarii Vesa. So like, yeah, they're like a kit bash type of army. That's what I would want, a lot of infantry.
Yes, I would do the opposite of that. I've always liked to lead armies, and I think you could even do that somewhat with the Orcs, especially with like the Beast Nagas, have a bunch of bikes, a bunch of Gorkanauts, Morkanauts, and of course the new, I forget what he's called. It's like those like guys that ride the squig.
Oh, Beast Naga boys?
Yeah, but there's like the named character. What's his name? The dude that rides like the great white squid.
Yeah. I don't know his name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so a bunch of that, like basically hard-hitting, fast orcs.
Yeah, good question. Next one.
This one is by Trey Martinez. He has a few questions. Let's start with question number 1. So Grimaldus versus the named interrogator chaplain from the Dark Angels. Who would win between this fight? I have my money on the hero of Hell's Reach, lore-wise. So basically, when it's a named character against any other character, the named character is always going to win.
Always.
Yeah. So as awesome as Hell's Reach is, and like you see all these awesome stuff that interrogator chaplain is doing, Grimaldus, he's not going to go down to a no-named character.
Right. And it's Grimaldus.
Yeah. Question 2. With High Marshal Halbrecht vowing to find out and avenge what happened to the missing chapter of the Dark Angels, it makes you wonder if the Black Templars already has suspects, but will they gain evidence as to see what exactly has been killing those angels? That would make for an interesting narrative scene that Grimaldus has distrust and disdain in High Marshal Halbrecht, and huge suspicion as well.
So, I mean, that's just kind of like a theory, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to what exactly is going on with the Dark Angels, and we're not really seeing anything that has to do with the Black Templars. So unless in the new Arcs of Omen storyline, will the Black Templars get introduced, it'll probably have nothing to do with each other, and we'll see more of like Vashtor, Angron, Abaddon against the Dark Angels.
Yeah, and what sucks, or not what sucks, but what's interesting about GW is that they showcase what they're going to do based on their releases. They already released new models for the Black Templars.
Yeah.
They're more than likely not going to put out more unless they have like some type of named character or something.
Exactly. Because we've had that whole release for the orcs, and there are a little bit of orc stuff coming out, but I think it's mainly just like a named character or two.
Yeah. Next question comes from the big one. Can you guys help me on my own personal quest? It's to get my GED after 12 long years of trying. Hurry now. I've never, like, a GED is just basically like a test, right?
Yeah, it just proves that you graduated high school.
And it's like super basic stuff.
Yeah. We had a friend that was like in high school for like 4 years. Super senior.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he got his GED in like some after school program.
Yeah. So he never graduated high school.
Right.
Yeah. I worked with somebody who graduated high school and was trying to get his GED.
What? How does that happen?
I don't know. He's not very smart.
They bamboozled him.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by...
I have one from Aneth Ardaliarder.
Yeah, go ahead.
How is GW thinking they will gain new generations of customers if they keep making it so expensive?
That's actually the one I was looking for.
I mean, so to be honest with you, when we were young, a box of orcs was or a box of like infantry was around $20. And for us in that time, so this was back in like early 2000s, that was a lot of money. That always was a lot of money. So, like, I think what they're trying to do is they know their demographic because we know our demographic. It's between the ages of, like, 21 to 32. And that's when we have disposable income. So I don't think that GW is trying at all to get new customers. And I guess they are, right? But they're doing it through Black Library and their IP. Not through the tabletop.
Yeah, we've seen a whole slew of like mobile phone games, a bunch of novels being released, both at the same time for Horus Heresy, Siege of Terra, and in like the future stuff. And we've seen also a bunch of like companies working alongside them, such as like Monopoly. There's Warhammer 40K Monopoly now.
Yep.
So Warhammer Adventures. They're doing all this to broaden themselves. Warhammer TV. Henry Cavill working with Amazon to get, live action stuff. So they are becoming more well known. And I think that's how they're trying to bring in people, because they like the lore, they like all this stuff. And then if they like it that much, they're willing to pay to play the tabletop.
Yeah. And that's how they get them. Because, like, put yourself in the shoes of, like, a 12-year-old. Would you rather go to the comic book store and buy a comic book for... How much are comic books now?
Like $3-4.
Yeah. $3-4, or you're going to spend $50 on a tank. You're going to spend it on the book. You're going to read all the comic books. And then after a while, once you get your first job and stuff, you can finally be like, I can finally buy myself a tank. And then you're hooked. And
you realize you don't just have to buy the tank. You got to buy the glue. You got to buy the clippers. You got to buy the paint.
Yeah. And then that's when you realize, I should have just started doing heroin. Like, that would have gotten me more than these miniatures that just sit in my closet. Plastic crack.
Yeah.
How about real crack? Last question.
This one is by Justino. Is it possible that some of the Marines from the Lost Legions who were folded into the other legions are still alive in the current setting? Perhaps one or two still existing, maybe as dreadnoughts or held in stasis, or maybe even as cause primaris. What do you guys think? Or were they all deleted and nobody would be aware of it? Much love from Scotland.
Whoa, Scotland. That's pretty cool. So to answer that, I'm going to answer it like as if I was GW. Yes, it's possible because this is a sandbox universe and you create your own. So if you want to have a dreadnought in your homebrew chapter, sorry, that was part of the Lost Legion and there's like a whole story arc for that, do it, man. Like, it fits. Is it likely that we're going to see it as a canon story? No.
Yeah, probably not. We have been getting inklings of lore for the Lost Primarchs and their legions, but it's just very minute, like 1 or 2 sentences at most. The more they give us, I feel like eventually they might cave in and just give us a whole new Primarch, a whole new legion. But at the same time, I feel like they can't take away the whole sandbox, create your own Space Marine Primarchs from us as well. So
yeah. Unless the tabletop becomes less popular than the books, which it might be.
But I feel like it'll be like way at the end, like all the Primarchs have returned, like the Emperor came back or something. And they're like, oh, what's next? Reveal the new Primarchs.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been the Sound Alchemist.
Kershwan.
We are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any